The pseudomaxillary peritoneum. This is pseudomaxillary peritoneum. There's local collection on very low elevation in the peritoneal cavity contains scattered benign calcification and a scalloped part of the liver. Diagnosis: pseudomaxillary peritoneum. Local collection in the peritoneal cavity containing scattered calcifications and scalloped contour of the liver. Pseudomaxillary peritoneum. The other diagnosis is only peritoneal collection. The peritoneal keratodermatosis, but important is pseudomaxillary peritoneum, scalloped liver border with collections in peritoneal cavity containing calcification. Question 15. Confirmed endogenous insulin hypersecretion. CT scan of the abdomen is found most likely finding pancreas. 5 cm arterially enhancing soil mass in the head of the pancreas. Insulinoma is the head in the head. Insulinoma is most common neuroendocrine tumor in the pancreas. It is most commonly seen in the head. So here look, this in pancreatic head. There is a 5 cm arterially enhancing soil mass in the head of pancreas. Insulinoma. 5 cm arterially enhancing soil mass in the head of the pancreas. Diagnosis: insulinoma. Question number 16. Ultrasound shows well-defined rounded 7 cm hyperchoic lesion in the right lobe of the liver, continuous with the liver capsule, with fine homogeneous low-level internal echoes on acoustic enhancement. Posterior diagnosis: amoebic abscess. Hereditary abscess will show debris and eosinophilia, but this shows low-level internal echoes, so diagnosis: amoebic abscess. The hereditary disease and the amoebic abscess on CT scan. In the abscess, there will be a irregular shaped or well-defined lesion in with central hypodense areas and fine internal echoes. Diagnosis: amoebic abscess. Question 17. Diagnosis with necrotizing migratory erythema. For initial investigation is most appropriate CT of the abdomen to see the glucagonoma. In necrotizing migratory erythema, initial investigation is most appropriate is CT of the abdomen for glucagonoma. 13. Man with a fresh bleeding rectum, colonoscopy is unsuccessful in detecting the source of the bleeding. For the most proper next investigation, CT angiography. Man with fresh bleeding rectum, colonoscopy unsuccessful in detecting the source of disease. Bleeding, most proper next investigation, CT angiography. To see the small bleeding. 19. Barium swallow shows a moderately dilated esophagus with reduced peristalsis and smooth tapering of distal esophagus. Most likely diagnosis: gastric carcinoma. Barium swallow shows moderately dilated esophagus with reduced peristalsis and smooth tapering of distal esophagus. Most likely diagnosis: gastric carcinoma. The hint is that smooth tapering of the distal esophagus is seen in gastric carcinoma. Question number 20. Woman with pigmented mucous membrane and face with bleeding per rectum. Small bowel follow through shows small bowel interception. What other finding is most likely to be demonstrated? Multiple filament defects in the small bowel, because face and mucous membrane pigment show Peutz-Jeghers syndrome. So this woman with pigmented mucous membrane face and bleeding per rectum. The small bowel follow through shows small bowel interception. Okay, there are multiple polyps. Okay, the enteritis rectal polyp, and this is polyp in the bowel loop. There are multiple polyps in bowel loop, so Peutz-Jeghers syndrome. Woman with pigmented mucous membrane face and bleeding per rectum. Small bowel follow through shows, and this is small bowel interception, small bowel, and then so it's in interception due to familial adenomatous polyposis. Interception. There's the syndromes of FAP. Woman with pigmented mucous membrane and face bleeding per rectum and small bowel follow through shows small bowel interception. What other finding most likely demonstrated? Multiple filament defects in the small bowel, multiple filament defects in the bowel loops. Diagnosis: familial adenomatous polyposis. Question number 21. History of previous partial gastrectomy. Bare meal shows a 4 cm intraluminal mottled filling defect in the gastric remnant with no fixed attachment to the gastric wall, most likely diagnosed phytopyzor or trichopyzor is seen in psychiatric patients, and phytopyzor is seen when they after partial discectomy. Trichopyzor is seen in psychiatric patients. It consists of hair. Phytopyzor is seen after partial gastrectomy. Now again, this Bizarre, okay. Period gastrectomy, where meal shows intraluminal mottled film defect in the gastric remnant with no fixed attachment to gastric wall, diagnosed phytopyzor or Bizarre. Perimeal shows a intraluminal mottled film defect in the gastric remnant with no fixed attachment to the gastric wall, diagnosed Bizarre or phytopyzor. Perimeal or CT scan shows a mottled film defect in the gastric remnant with no fixed attachment to the gastric wall, diagnosed Bizarre. Again, Bizarre. These both are Bizarre. Meal shows a mortal film defect in the gastric remnant with no attachment to gastric wall, diagnosis is prior to Bizarre. Question number 22. Barium swallow shows smooth, well-defined esophageal polyp, esophageal duodenoma, and esophageal duplication cyst. Duplication cyst. Now, barium swallow shows smooth, well-defined 12 centimeter or submucosal lesion in distal esophagus, causing deformity of the lumen, and CT scan shows cortical lesion in the mass, diagnosed esophageal duodenoma. Question number 23. Non-metastatic malignant melanoma, epigastric pain and hematomesis, most likely found on stomach and topical contrast by meal, multiple submucosal nodules with central ulceration, or target sign high signal on T1. Malignant metastatic melanoma, epigastric pain and hematomesis, most likely found on stomach and topical contrast by meal, multiple submucosal nodules with central ulceration. Question number 24. Chest pain after a night out, tachycardia and hypotensive, chest radiographs with extensive pneumomediastinum with left pleural effusion and left lower lobe atelectasis, most likely diagnosed spontaneous esophageal rupture. Chest pain after night out and chest radiographs with extensive pneumomediastinum, most likely diagnosis spontaneous esophageal rupture. Question 25. 2 centimeter lesion in the liver. CT scans with peripheral nodular arterial enhancement with complete filling on delayed images, most likely diagnosis hepatic hemangioma. 2 centimeter lesion in the liver. CT scans with peripheral nodular arterial enhancement with complete fill in on delayed images, most likely diagnosis hepatic hemangioma. Question number 26. Radiograph shows distended inverted U shape of the bowel, divided of Hofstra, inverted U shape of the bowel. Okay. The gastric volvulus, sigmoid volvulus, gastric volvulus, sigmoid volvulus, fecal volvulus. Radiograph shows inverted U shape of the bowel, divided of Hofstra, extending from the left iliac fossa inferiorly to just beneath the left hemidiaphragm superiorly, most likely diagnosed sigmoid volvulus. Also you can say coffee bean sign. With the Hofstra visible, fecal volvulus. Sigmoid volvulus, fecal volvulus. Sigmoid volvulus, fecal volvulus. Is an erect chest radiograph shows free intraperitoneal air below the diaphragm, most likely caused perforated anterior wall duodenal ulcer. Erect chest radiograph shows free intraperitoneal air below the diaphragm, most likely caused perforated anterior wall duodenal ulcer. Question 28. Barium males with vertical band-like narrowing of third part of duodenum with proximal duodenal dilatation and ambiguous true and 4 parasites, most likely diagnosed superior mesenteric artery syndrome. The anal pancreas shows the narrowing of the second part of duodenum. So again, barium meal shows vertical band-like narrowing of the third part of duodenum, first part, second part, third part. Vertical band-like narrowing of the third part of duodenum with proximal duodenal dilatation and rigorous 2 and 4 peristalsis, most likely diagnosis superior mesenteric artery syndrome. Here is superior mesenteric artery syndrome. Superior mesenteric artery syndrome on CT scan. Superior mesenteric artery syndrome, dilated duodenum, dilated stomach. Then these are Again, superior artery syndrome, duodenum. This is cholecystoduodenal fistula, fistula between duodenum and biliary tract, and this is aortoenteric fistula, fistula between aorta and the bowel loop. For this, perineal vertical leg band narrowing of the third part of duodenum, with proximal duodenal dilatation and vigorous 2 and 4 peristalsis, superior artery syndrome. Question 28. Which feature in brain anemia favored the diagnosis of cardiac rather than Crohn's disease? Circumferential wall involvement, no SIP lesions. Which feature? This is ulcerative colitis. Ulcerative colitis, toxin. Which feature favors diagnosis of ulcerative colitis rather than Crohn's disease? Circumferential wall involvement. Circumferential wall involvement in ulcerative colitis. Circumferential wall involvement seen in ulcerative colitis. Question 30. Multiple linear branching structures with an attenuation value of minus 100 HU in the liver extending to the periphery, where the appearance is most likely to represent gas in the portal venous system. Not in the gas and biliary tree, because the gas in the portal venous system. Multiple linear branching structures with an attenuation value of minus 100 HU in the liver extending to the periphery. These appearances most likely to represent gas in the portal venous system. Question number 31. Radiograph shows rounded laminated calcific density projected over the right lower quadrant. What is the approximate likelihood of diagnosis of acute appendicitis? 90%. Radiograph rounded laminated calcific density projected over the right lower quadrant. What is the approximate, or in the right iliac fossa, what is the approximate likelihood of diagnosis of acute appendicitis? 90%. Question number 32. CT scan shows solidly well-defined rounded homogeneous unseen mass of mean attenuation value identical to spleen as seen near the item. Most likely diagnosis, SAE spleen or splenectomy. CT scan well-defined rounded homogeneous mass of attenuation values identical to spleen seen in splenic item. Diagnosis, splenectomy. Question number 33. CT pulmonary angiogram for suspected acute pulmonary embolism. Multiple irregular areas of relatively poor enhancement in the right portion of the spleen likely cause non-arterial phase enhancement. Because splenic infarct will show wedge-shaped and solid to them, but CT pulmonary angiograms for suspected pulmonary embolism. Then there are multiple irregular areas of relatively poor enhancement in the right portion of the spleen likely cause normal arterial phase enhancement. Question number 34. Known to have AIDS. Perineum examination with multiple small superficial rounding ulcers in the mid-esophagus. Most likely diagnosis, herpes simplex esophagitis. Corrosive esophagitis, candidal esophagitis, and herpes esophagitis. Perineum examination shows multiple small superficial rounding ulcers in the mid-esophagus. Most likely diagnosis, herpes simplex esophagitis. Question number 35. Prime enema examination shows a concerning administration of intravenous buscopan. Which factor in medical history is most important to be aware of? Unstable cardiac disease. Question or buscopan is contraindicated in unstable cardiac disease. Question number 36. CT scan shows small bowel dilatation to the terminal ileum, where there is nodal calcified mass surrounding this plastic reaction, which is most likely cause a small bowel disruption, carotenoid tumor. CT scan, small bowel dilatation, there is nodal mass, calcified mass surrounding this plastic reaction. Diagnosis, carotenoid syndrome. There is also multiple carotenoid syndrome in the liver. Carotenoid in the liver. These are carotenoid syndrome. Carotenoid. Small bowel dilatation, where nodal calcified mass is surrounding this plastic reaction. Diagnosis, carotenoid tumor. Question 37.